Morning. As I said before, I don't have the words to sit here and talk to you about the anger, the betrayal, the utter horror that we all feel at the moment. The blatant gaslighting, treating us like fools. So I wanted to try a little exercise. This whole thing took about an hour and a half. I wrote a performance poem. Sounds very grand, but bear with me. A poem in two parts. And I wrote it straight through. There were no rewrites. I didn't go back in like I usually do and polish up the fancy words. I just literally straight from my head to the page and left it as it was. And then immediately I recorded the performance again. Well, I don't know what other word to use. I recorded it in one sitting. The drum beat is me banging the table. It's just recorded in a mobile phone. Very simple. One take, no rewrites, no polishing. Just to try and catch the rawness. It's called Barbwire Dove. Barbwire Dove. They speak of the dove while they feed the crow. They speak of the harvest when they salt the roe. The tongue is a velvet, the hand is a blade, a debt to the future that cannot be paid. And they call it peace. Yes, they call it peace. They polish the metal, they sharpen the steel, they crush the spirit under the wheel. With a Bible in pocket and a bomb in the bay, they promise the morning while stealing the day. The ink on the treaty is fresh and it's wet, but the ink is just blood that we haven't met yet. And they call it peace. Yes, they call it peace. They talk of protection, then level the town. They talk of uplifting, then hammer it down. A logic of lead and a gospel of fire. The truth is a carcass thrown onto the pyre. They offer a handshake, they offer a grin, while the factories churn out the original sin. And they call it peace. Yes, they call it peace. How quiet the graveyard, how still is the pain, when nothing is left but the smoke and the rain. No voices to argue, no children to cry, just a flag in the wind and a tear in the sky. If order is silence and mercy is lead, then the only ones peaceful are those who are dead. And they call it peace. Yes, they call it peace. The podium shakes with the weight of the lie, where the vultures are circling the holes in the sky. Wash the red from your hands in the fountain of greed, and plant the barbed wire where you promised the seed. And they call it peace. But we know it's war. Yes, we know it's war. We are the ink that the treaty ignores. We are the hinges on closing doors. While they weigh the logic of justified lead, we are the ones who are counting the dead. They trade in the greater, we live in the good, washing the soot from the neighbourhood. And they call it peace. We taste the ash. They speak of the theatre, we are the stage. They write the chapter, we are the page. A map is a grid to the man in the jet. But a map is a kitchen, a bed, and a debt. They discuss the strategy over their wine while we share a crust on the firing line. And they call it peace. But we hear the steel. Collateral damage, a word like a shroud, spoken by men who are distant and proud. But damage has names and a favourite toy. Damage was someone's pride and their joy. They say that the liberty justifies cost, but they are the ones who are living the loss. and they call it peace. But we feel the cold. The sky isn't blue, it's a ceiling of grey, waiting for thunder to take us away. They promise us safety, they promise us rest, while pinning a hero tag onto a chest. But you can't eat a medal and you can't warm a bone in a house that the peace turned to rubble and stone. And they call it peace, but we know the lie. When the cameras leave and the banners are torn, we're left in the silence of all that is shorn. The world moves along to a different beat, while the peace is a crater at the end of our street. They call it peace, we call it loss. They get the crown, we get the cross.